Have you ever been laughed at by the people you
I
trusted
really didn't
most?
expect this from
Have you ever walked into a situation
Please, can we just get
expecting
out of here?
embarrassment, only to discover something that completely changed your life? What happened to me started as a cruel joke. My friends thought they were setting me up for the most awkward night of my life. They expected everyone to laugh at my reaction. But by the end of that evening, nobody was laughing anymore. In fact, what happened next left every single person speechless. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Moments, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this remind us how a single act of kindness can change everything. Now let's get started. A few years ago, I was 32 years old, single, and focused almost entirely on my work. While most of my friends were married and raising families, I spent my weekends working extra hours or staying home watching movies. My friends loved teasing me about it. "You're going to be alone forever," they would joke. I laughed along, but after hearing it enough times, it started getting old. One Friday evening, a group of friends invited me out for dinner. During the meal, they kept exchanging strange looks and smiling at each other. Finally, one of them said, "We've got a surprise for you." I should have been suspicious. They told me they had arranged a blind date for the following evening. Everyone around the table started grinning. "Trust us," another friend said. "You won't forget this date." The way they laughed made me nervous. The next day, I arrived at a small restaurant downtown. My friends had refused to tell me anything about the woman I was meeting. When I walked inside, I immediately noticed a woman sitting alone near the window. She looked tired but kind. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, sat beside her coloring in a book. The woman stood up and smiled. "Hi, are you Jake?" I nodded. "I'm Emily." As we sat down, I quickly realized why my friends thought this was funny. Emily was a single mom. Back then, some of my friends believed that dating a single parent was something to avoid. They assumed I would be upset or uncomfortable. What they didn't know was that I was far more interested in a person's character than their situation. Emily seemed nervous. "I hope you don't mind that my daughter is here," she said quietly. "My babysitter canceled at the last minute." I looked at the little girl. She gave me a shy wave. "Not at all," I said with a smile. Immediately, I saw relief on Emily's face. As dinner continued, we talked about life, work, and family. Emily told me she had lost her husband 3 years earlier after a sudden illness. Since then, she had been working 2 jobs while raising her daughter, Lily. I couldn't imagine how difficult that must have been. Despite everything she had been through, she never complained. Instead, she talked about gratitude. She spoke about the neighbors who helped during hard times, the teachers who encouraged Lily, and the strangers who showed unexpected kindness when she needed it most. The more she talked, the more I admired her. Then something happened that changed the entire evening. An elderly man sitting nearby suddenly dropped his cane and nearly fell while trying to stand. Before anyone else reacted, Emily rushed over. She helped him regain his balance and carefully picked up his belongings. The man looked embarrassed. "It's okay," Emily said gently. "Everybody needs help sometimes." Her words were simple, but they stayed with me. When she returned to the table, she acted as though nothing unusual had happened. To her, helping someone wasn't special. It was simply the right thing to do. A few minutes later, our waitress accidentally spilled a drink near our table. The poor woman looked terrified. The restaurant was busy, and she clearly expected an angry customer. Instead, Emily smiled. "Don't worry about it," she said. "Accidents happen." The waitress looked shocked. Then she smiled with obvious gratitude. Watching Emily that evening taught me something important. True kindness isn't loud. It doesn't seek attention. It appears in small moments when nobody expects it. As dinner ended, Lily tugged on her mother's sleeve. "Mom," she whispered. Emily leaned closer. The little girl pointed toward a homeless man sitting outside the restaurant. Without hesitation, Emily asked for a takeout container and packed half of her meal. Then she walked outside with Lily. Together, they handed the food to the man. The gratitude on his face was unforgettable. At that moment, I understood something my friends never did. Emily wasn't someone to laugh at. She was someone to admire. The following week, my friends eagerly called me. "So," one of them asked, "how bad was it?" I smiled. "It was actually the best date I've ever had." There was silence on the other end. Then nervous laughter. They thought I was joking. I wasn't. Over the next several months, Emily and I spent more time together. I got to know Lily. We visited parks, attended school events, and shared countless conversations. But what impressed me most was Emily's heart. Everywhere she went, she looked for opportunities to help others. She volunteered at community events. She checked on elderly neighbors. She encouraged struggling friends. Her kindness touched everyone around her, including me. Slowly, I found myself becoming kinder too. I started volunteering. I became more patient. I paid closer attention to people who needed support. Emily showed me that kindness isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistently choosing compassion. A year later, I invited all the friends who had arranged the joke date to a backyard barbecue. As everyone gathered, Emily stood beside me while Lily played nearby. One friend looked around and laughed. I can't believe this all started as a prank. Neither could I. Then Lily ran over and hugged my leg. The entire group went quiet. Emily smiled. And in that moment, my friends finally understood. What they thought would embarrass me had become one of the greatest blessings of my life. Sometimes we judge people based on circumstances we don't understand. Sometimes we miss incredible opportunities because of unfair assumptions. But kindness has a way of revealing what truly matters. That blind date taught me that the most beautiful people are often the ones carrying the heaviest burdens. And when we choose kindness instead of judgment, we open the door to friendships, love, and life-changing connections. So the next time you meet someone, look beyond the labels. Look beyond the assumptions. Give people a chance. Show kindness whenever you can. Because one simple act of compassion may not only change someone else's life, it might completely transform your own. And that's a lesson worth remembering every single day.